The sun had barely risen over the dusty plains of Dry Creek when the cries of newborns pierced the still morning air. Josie McAllister knelt in the dry grass, blood-soaked and trembling, her 3 newborn daughters nestled in an old grain sack beside her. She'd birthed them alone in the barn, hidden behind hay bales, away from the wrath of her husband. Roy McAllister, a hard-souled cattleman with fists as heavy as iron, stormed across the yard when he heard the baby's cries. "Girls," he spat, looming over Josie with a fury that trembled the very air. 3 useless mouths, and not a boy in sight. He reached down, grabbed the sack roughly, and began marching toward the south pasture, toward the dry hole they used to bury dead calves. "Roy, no!" Josie screamed, crawling after him, her body too weak to stand. "They're your daughters." "They ain't ranchers, Josie. They ain't nothing. Just burdens." He raised a shovel. But then a teenage voice rang out. "Touch them again, and I swear I'll bury you myself." Standing on the porch, trembling but armed, was 17-year-old Beau McAllister. The rifle in his hand shook from fear and resolve alike. Roy paused. Their eyes locked. Beau's voice cracked. "Put them down. Pa. Right now." Chapter 2, Running from Past. That night, Josie and Beau packed the babies into a horse-drawn cart and fled Dry Creek. With blood on her lip and bruises blooming across her arms, Josie held her daughters close while Beau drove, glancing behind them at every mile. The frontier was cruel to women alone, even more so to women with children. They traveled for 2 days with no sleep, living on stale bread and river water, until they reached Sand Hollow, a rugged town of dusty streets and watchful eyes. Josie collapsed at the edge of town. Beau flagged down the local preacher, and with some mercy from the townsfolk, they were taken in by the widow Millie Hart, who offered them the back room of her ranch house in exchange for help around her place. But news traveled fast on the frontier, and evil, like wildfire, always knew how to find what it burned. Chapter 3, The Cowboy and the Burdened Woman. 3 weeks passed before she met him. Josie was hanging wet laundry on the line when a stranger rode into Millie's ranch, a tall cowboy with a tattered hat and a quiet air. "Name's Colt Waverly," he said, tipping his hat. "Looking for work. Heard Miss Millie might need a ranch hand." Colt had eyes that saw more than he let on. He noticed Josie's swollen lip, the way she flinched when anyone raised their voice. But he said nothing of it, just worked sunup to sundown with a calm strength that made the ground feel safer when he was near. Josie didn't trust men, not anymore, but her baby smiled when Colt walked by. And over time, she did too. He fixed a broken crib without asking, brought her extra kindling when she looked cold. He was quiet, respectful, and it made her ache in a way that scared her. One night, Colt found her crying behind the barn, a feverish baby in her arms. "She won't take milk," Josie whispered. "I don't know what to do." Colt knelt beside her, took the baby gently, and rocked her with hands steady as stone. "You're doing more than most ever could," he said softly. "These girls got a mother with fire in her bones." Josie wept, not from sorrow this time, but from the weight of finally being seen. Chapter 4, Ghosts in the Dust. But peace was fleeting. One night, Millie came running, face pale. "Josie, there's riders coming in from Dry Creek. 4 of 'em. One's got McAllister eyes." Beau grabbed the rifle again. He was no longer a boy. Weeks of watching over his sisters had sharpened him. But Josie stopped him. "I won't have my son become a killer," she said. "We'll run again." Colt stood by the door. "Oh, you let me handle it." "No blood," Josie begged. Colt nodded once. "No blood." Chapter 5, Redemption in the Dust. When Roy McAllister rode into Sand Hollow, he didn't expect to find his wife standing tall in the center of town, with the entire town backing her up. Colt met him at the saloon steps. "You lost something, mister." Roy spat. That woman belongs to me, and so do them girls. Colt stepped forward. Not anymore. Roy reached for his belt, but Millie cocked her shotgun from behind the water trough. Half the town stood armed, tough ranch women, retired Union soldiers, and cowboys who knew Josie's story. Beau stood by Colt's side, rifle raised. You taught me what a man shouldn't be, Pa. I'm nothing like you. Roy snarled, but there was no fight left in him. He turned, furious, but outnumbered, and rode off into the hills like the coward he was. Colt looked at Josie. You're safe now, he said quietly. Chapter 6, A Future from Ashes. Spring came fast that year. With Colt's help, Josie learned to run her own stretch of land. Millie deeded her a few acres behind the riverbed. The triplets grew strong, crawling in the day, babbling at chickens. Beau found work with a local blacksmith, and Josie laughed again, freely, without checking over her shoulder. One quiet evening, Colt walked her home from the creek. You ever think about going back? He asked. To Dry Creek? She shivered. No, that place buried me. This place saved me. He nodded, silent again. Why do you stay, Colt? She asked. You could ride anywhere. I reckon I've been riding too long, he said. Maybe I finally found what I was looking for. Josie's breath caught. Colt took her hand gently. I know you've been hurt, Josie. I ain't asking for nothing but to walk beside you if you'll let me. She looked down at their joined hands, weathered, scarred, strong. I'd like that, she whispered. Epilogue. 3 little ranches. Years later, the triplet girls, Locke, June, and Clara, ran wild across the fields, bold as colts and twice as stubborn. Folks in Sand Hollow called them the girl ranchers, and not a single man dared say they weren't fit for the wag. Josie and Colt married under the cottonwoods. Beau stood beside them, proud and tall. They'd built their lives from ashes and blood, from hardship and hope. And in the heart of the Wild West, a broken woman became whole again, not because she was saved, but because she chose to survive, to love again, and to raise a new kind of strength in her daughters. The kind that couldn't be buried. Not ever,